Hey 10th graders, kasya haat? Welcome to this Sankalpana guide. We've specifically designed this explainer to help you completely rethink how you study and, more importantly, to relieve some of that building board exam chat tension. Seriously, if you've been staring at your textbooks lately, feeling like you just have this massive, impossible mountain of unrelated facts to memorize, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to unlock a revision hack that literally separates the toppers from the rest of the pack.
So, ek vichitra prashna vicharo? Can I ask a kind of weird question? What on earth does a car battery have in common with your stomach? I know, it sounds like a joke, right? But the answer is exactly why we're here today. Believe it or not, both a car battery and your stomach rely heavily on highly concentrated acids just to function. The battery uses sulfuric acid to generate electricity, and your stomach uses hydrochloric acid to break down your lunch. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see that biology, chemistry, and physics aren't these isolated, boring worlds. They are happening inside you, all at once.
All right, here is our connection blueprint for today. Section 1, science is one connected story. Section 2, biology meets chemistry, specifically digestion. Section 3, biology meets physics with neurons. And Section 4, the ultimate exam hack.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, science is one connected story. Okay, let's dive right into this. The absolute biggest mistake students make during board exam prep is treating physics, chemistry, and biology like they live in totally different universes. Shattering that illusion, that is the ultimate revision hack. Just think about a single human action. Garam pandiala hat laglaki. When your hand accidentally touches a hot vessel, you pull it away immediately, right? Well, physics governs the heat transfer and the electrical impulses traveling up your arm. Chemistry governs the neurotransmitters firing across your cells to actually send that signal. And biology? That's the anatomical structure, your muscles and nerves, actually performing the action. Understanding how one everyday human action triggers all three branches simultaneously, that guarantees the deep conceptual understanding that examiners absolutely love to see.
Moving right along to Section 2, biology meets chemistry, digestion.
Let's merge Chemistry Chapter 2, Acids, Bases, and Salts, directly with Biology Chapter 6, Life Processes. Think about hydrochloric acid, or HCl, sitting in a chemistry lab test tube. We learn all about its properties and just how dangerously strong it is. But then we realize that the exact same acid from the chemistry lab is churning right now in your patat, your stomach. Your textbook tells us that food gets churned with gastric juice and HCl, making the whole medium highly acidic. But why? Because the digestive enzyme pepsin literally requires that specific, harsh acidic environment to break down proteins.
And this brings us right back to your chemistry syllabus, the pH scale. You learned that pH is a measure of hydrogen ion concentration, but it's not just some dry lab concept. Tumchi body ek master chemiste. Your body is a master chemist. It actively changes the pH concentration in different organs to turn biological reactions on and off. Dilution and concentration aren't just things you do in a beaker during practicals. Your body dilutes and concentrates digestive juices every single day to keep you alive.
It's amazing how perfectly this maps biological enzymes to chemical environments. Take pepsin, for example. It's secreted by gastric glands into the stomach, acting on proteins. It absolutely needs that acidic pH provided by HCl. But then, look at trypsin and amylase, which are secreted by the pancreas into the duodenum. They also act on proteins and carbohydrates to create peptones and maltose. Fine Tyana ekdam vegla pH lagto. They require a completely different, basic pH to even function.
Mahatje lakshat घ्यायची गोष्ट आहे की the crucial point to remember here is this. Memorizing the human digestive system isn't just about rote learning weird organ names. It's simply tracking how the body perfectly manipulates chemical pH to break down your food. Once you realize that digestion is just this beautifully coordinated series of chemical reactions, memorizing the enzymes and their locations becomes entirely logical. It just makes sense, saving you so much effort.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 3, Biology meets Physics, Neurons. We are now combining biology with physics. Meet the functional unit of your nervous system, the neuron. You have over 100 billion of these little guys. Now, you definitely need to know the anatomy for the exam, the dendrites, the cell body or cyton, and that long axon. But instead of just viewing it as a squishy biological cell, I want you to look at it through the lens of physics. A neuron is, quite literally, a biological electrical wire carrying signals all across your body.
In your syllabus, you'll definitely come across the term myelinated neurons,
Basically, these are neurons covered in a fatty insulating sheath. Board exams love to test this concept. He average students law toppers basun vigla kurda. Understanding this really separates the average students from the toppers. Why do myelinated neurons transmit impulses significantly faster than non-myelinated ones? Well, the answer lies entirely in physics.
Just think about the garrote wires, the cables in your house. They're wrapped in rubber insulation so the electrical current doesn't just leak out everywhere, allowing the energy to travel super efficiently to your TV or fridge. Myelinated neurons do the exact same thing. That biological myelin sheath acts as a literal electrical insulator around the axon conductor. This prevents the electrical impulse from dissipating, which drastically speeds up the transmission of the signal through the cell body and right down the axon.
Back in Unit 4 of Physics, you study the effects of current. Electric current, potential difference, Ohm's law, and resistance. Resistance, as you know, is the opposition to the flow of current. But guess what? Tumcha body mein, pan. In your body, too, electrical impulses face resistance. The thicker the nerve fiber, the lower the resistance, just like a thicker copper wire. The human body is basically a complex domestic electric circuit, just made of cells instead of copper.
And that brings us straight to the synapse. Your textbook defines it as the minute gap between two neurons where information is transmitted. Now, because neurons don't physically touch each other, the electrical signal can't just magically jump the gap. It faces ultimate resistance. So the synapse acts exactly like a switch or a resistor in an electric circuit. To cross this gap, the electrical impulse is temporarily converted into a chemical signal. On a gap cross-current it converts right back into an electrical signal on the other side. It is biology utilizing physics and chemistry in a fraction of a millisecond. It's mind-blowing.
Let's see how this all builds into a complete reflex action. Jeva doctor tumche knee tap kartat. When a doctor taps your knee with that little hammer, it creates a complete closed electrical circuit. The stimulus is detected by receptors. The electrical signal then travels up the afferent or sensory nerves. Think of these as the input wires carrying the current to your spinal cord. Then the efferent or motor nerves act as the output wires delivering the reaction right back to your muscles to make your leg kick. A perfect biological electrical circuit.
And that brings us to our final stop. Section 4, the ultimate exam hack. Khub chan, you've made it to the final section. By looking at science this way, you are unlocking a massive, game-changing shortcut for your board prep. Here is your ultimate exam hack summarized. First, always link concepts to save your brain's memory space. Don't study pH in isolation, connect it directly to how your stomach digests proteins. Don't just rigidly memorize the parts of a neuron, connect it to electrical circuits, conductors, and insulators. When you apply theoretical science to real-world biological phenomena, the facts just stick in your brain naturally. You aren't just working harder, you're revising so much smarter.
I want to leave you with this one final thought. Science is not a collection of isolated facts, but a single, brilliant story happening inside you every second. The very next time you eat an apple, or blink your eyes, or feel the heat of the sun on your skin, ask yourself, how are physics, chemistry, and biology working together right now to make this happen? Decode the everyday world around you, and you'll find that you already know exactly what you need to ace those exams. Keep connecting those dots, and happy studying, Mitrano!